The last presentation before our panel, and by saying presentation I mean the presentation of a case study exploring the truly complex complexity of today's M&A landscape. And for this rather challenging task, we do have just the right people. Let me introduce the CEO of Apliqo, a former investment banker and CFO of several multinational companies with more than 25 years of experience. Please do welcome with me, Daniele Tedesco.
So my name is Daniele Tedesco, and as my name says, it sounds German, but I'm not German. I'm actually Italian, and I have a Swiss passport. My wife is Swiss, so you can imagine during Euro Cup and World Cups, my life is a disaster. We're going to be presenting today a case study with my dear friend Lutz. So let me just quickly go into what we are actually planning to do today. We're going to show you a case study on how FP&A solutions, so the solutions we do for financial planning and analysis, support M&A transactions. Effectively, all that you heard before from UBS, from Aid Advisory, and from Horvath, we're putting into action. So this is the reality check, where we actually get everything into a solution, and we need to get it on the road. We are a company that is focused on intelligent analytics and planning solutions. We were founded in 2013. We're a Swiss company, and we're pretty proud of that. We are close to 100 employees around the globe with 5 offices in Switzerland, Germany, India, Austria, and in Israel. We have a global business network which allows us to deliver our solutions globally in different regions, which is North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. And many of our customers are mid-sized to large companies. To name a few, I'm really proud of, obviously, Amazon uses our solution globally for the whole financial planning and analysis process. We have customers such as ABB, Deutsche Bahn, Hitachi. UBS is also a very good client of ours, just to showcase how complex solutions can get. Nevertheless, our solutions are also used by mid-sized companies such as Lab Group. We focus primarily on 2 kind of business solutions. On one hand, for the Office of Finance, and on the other hand, for the Investment Office. I'm going to go into more details in the next slide, what that means. But essentially, we are the ones that deliver solutions to what you heard before. Throughout my career, I learned that FP&A solutions support M&A transactions primarily on 4 areas. The first area is increasing transparency. You've heard it from Patrick Roth that there's an enormous amount of data and information that needs to be provided, that needs to be consistent, that needs to be bulletproof, and that needs to be able to be provided to investors so that they actually trust the investment case you're providing. Our financial solutions support exactly that. You will be able to actually have a consistent financial planning and reporting data set that will be flowing into the fact books that companies such as Aid Advisory creates, and that is an incredibly important part because unless that data is credible, you're not going to have a good investment story. The next one is to decrease uncertainty and risks. We've heard a lot about risk mitigating, why do transactions fail or not? And one part is obviously the regulatory requirements. The regulatory requirements over the last couple of years have increased a lot, and you need to provide a myriad of reports that support that, and our solutions support that kind of like reporting requirements as well during the whole process. From a risk management perspective, it allows you to both assess the financial and operational risks that will be challenged by potential investors when you're going through an exit strategy. So our solution will allow you to better explain how you mitigate those risks and how you manage those risks. Next one is actually our solutions help to improve performance. How do we do that? On one hand, it allows you to assess where the synergy are when you're trying to acquire an asset. You will be able to create pro forma P&Ls, assess the different departments which are equal, where you would potentially see some cost savings. Even from a net working capital perspective, you would be able to assess where you would see the potential to increase, to achieve synergies. From a cash flow management perspective, that is primarily on the net working capital side. Our solution allows you to model net working capital for all the different implications that are in the business, whether it's driven from currency fluctuations, sales and operations changes, or even supply disruptions. You're able to stress that in our solution. At the end, what you need to be able to provide is a full-blown fact book that covers P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow, and that cash flow needs to tie to all the assumptions you've made. And you need to be able to defend those assumptions with potential buyers. If you actually are buying a target, our solution allows you to post-acquisition, do the integration planning, and execute the transaction in such a way so you can monetize on the investment. Last but not least, it's about increasing value. Increasing value specifically is when you actually need to tell a good story. And for those that work in banking, you know, selling a company is like selling another product. You need to have a good story. You need to be able to tell what the USPs are of that company. And if you can back that with data, you're going to be in a much better position than if you're not. And our solutions support that journey. This, by on one hand, being able to provide you with the key information that feed into the SPA to be able to maximize on the valuations. On the other hand, it also allows you to create business plans that can be communicated to the potential stakeholders with a story that actually sticks, so that people understand what your business model is, why you are so unique, and how you generate value. So ultimately, these four buckets are what you're actually going to use this technologies such as FP&A solutions. But at the end, the steering model, that's where you need to have the ability to create scenarios. We've heard there's lots of uncertainty that actually impacts all of your businesses, whether it's currency, whether it's all sorts of crises. You need to be able to stress test your operating model with those scenarios and understand the sensitivities. Our solution supports that so that you can actually assess how sensitive you are to certain impacts. And the performance management at the end, you heard it from Jana, it's super important. You need to have a steering model that you can represent in a solution that the business actually understands. Less is more. One of the key things that I always talk to my clients is define what is material. Stick to what is material, the rest is not important. To the question where how many KPIs do you need to have? There's just two axes there. One is how is the impact of the KPI to the business, and the other one is how can you influence it? If you cannot influence it, it has low impact, you should just ignore the KPI. On the other hand, if the KPI has a huge impact and you can influence, that's the one that you should focus on. But at the end, the most important deliverable is it actually allows you to increase transparency, decrease uncertainty and risks, improve performance, and increase value.